That's it. We're live.
Hello, welcome to Crimson Head Elder TV, and of course, welcome to our very special guest, to Bekka Prewitt, actor for Bela Dimitrescu.
Woohoo! Thank you. So glad to be here.
Bekka, thank you so much for joining us. Hi, my name's George Trevor. Of course, I've got the Crimson Head Elder team with me. We've got the Oracle Dragon.
Hello. I'm sorry, I thought I was muted.
And of course, we've got Chris Redfield himself, not maybe from Village, but Chris Redfield from not so many years ago. Don't worry, Joe, you're not that old. We've got Joe White with us.
Oh, I am that bloody old. Hi, Bekka. Very nice to meet you. In case you didn't know, I did voice Chris Redfield about 25 years ago.
I did. I stalked you, actually, Joe, to find out. Woohoo! Another RE person in the house.
I was so young when all this happened. You know, really a child.
And of course, hopefully taking us safely through the castle. We're very blessed today. Our very special guest streamer. We have all the way from Brazil and Resident Evil Database. We have Monique.
Yay!
Hello, please, guys, let me know if there's anything wrong with this transmission, please. Is the sound okay? Is everything okay? Hey, chat.
You sound slightly Brazilian. Is that because of your mic, or what is that?
Really?
If so,
Oh
can I
my
have that
God.
same mic? Because I'd love to sound Brazilian.
So we're going to start the stream in a second, but before we do, Bekka, thank you again. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you for asking. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, absolute pleasure. We've got so many fans already in the stream. Robert Pace, Bloody Eye, Draken Page, Zero Boy Gamer. There's some guys, wow, it's filling up with so much love and sentiment for you. And of course, please pass on your questions to, put your questions in the stream, and we will definitely pass them on to Bekka as we're playing. Before we start, Bekka, did you have any questions for us? I think this is maybe one of the first times you're watching the stream of the game, is it?
I actually did a little bit of research watching some of the things you guys have done, so I'm just excited to be here. But if you want me to interview you instead, I would love to. Let's turn the tables. Forget interviewing me. Let's just let me, hunt you guys down and ask you questions. That'd be fun.
Well, you did.
How long have you guys? How long have you guys been doing this now, total?
Oh, crikey. Well, we started the website 10 years ago. In fact, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. But
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I started the website. But it's only been recently, it's only been in the last year that we've done these streams and been blessed to, to showcase these streams with you guys. I was a bit of a Resident Evil nerd that used to get a little bit fed up when people asked me about the website and I said Resident Evil, and I always used to think about the films, and I'd be, no, the video games. And I just really wanted to champion you guys as, the actors, as the true representation of these characters that are so beloved. And, we're just so privileged that you give up your free time and you agreed to come on. So thank you so much.
Yay!
Well, thank you for championing us, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have anywhere to go and talk. So we appreciate you getting us out there. It means a lot to us, and we're super, super humbled to even be asked to do things like this. So I'm grateful for your invitation.
Well, you said about interviewing us. I mean, I know that obviously you're not just a talented actor. You know your stuff in terms of game mechanics in the game, because I think it was on Dan Allen Gaming, who did some fantastic interviews with the whole cast. I think it was on that one that you mentioned a great idea, and we'll come to it during the game, as to how you felt it would play out if perhaps the three daughters were on screen at the same time and kind of teamed up with Lady D.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I thought if we were all, we're a family, right? So let's not come at Ethan or somebody, one-on-one. At certain points, yes, but if we all got together, it'd be at a harder level for people to get through. I thought that'd be amazing.
All the questions already starting to come in. Don't worry, guys. If we don't ask your question immediately, Oracle Dragon and myself, we are noting them down. I know Oracle's very good at writing down the questions, so we definitely will get to them.
Even
Monique,
the oddball ones.
Monique, whenever you're ready to start, you go ahead, and we'll enter Castle. Well, I was going to say Castle Dimitrescu, but it's Dimitrescu, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. It's Dimitrescu. Yes, Dimitrescu.
Well, in Portuguese, we
But the
say
U throws
Dimitrescu.
everybody, doesn't it?
Dimitrescu.
Oh, that's even prettier.
Oh,
I like
wow.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
And you would think you pronounce the U in English, but you actually don't. You just dropped.
Yes. Okay, so I'm starting the game. It's all in English, of course. We have the version in Portuguese, and it's amazing. Well, you guys should check out sometime because it's really good. Okay, so we are starting right now.
Did you say, Moni, you had a question for Bekka in relation to the Portuguese version?
Yes. When we get in the castle, I'm going to tell her about the. There is a phrase from Bela that became kind of a meme in Portuguese.
Long ago, a young girl
that's
went with her
exciting.
mother to pick berries
been
for her
memed.
father, who was hard at work.
How is
That
the
means you've
Yeah,
been
I
The
am.
forest greeted
for
them with a
everyone
dark,
in the
cold
chat?
silence. The bushes empty.
Yes, thank you, Moni.
determined to
Guys in
find
chat, if we
berries.
need to
The
do
rascal
anything with the
broke free
levels,
from
if you
mother's
can't hear
grasp and
Bekka,
vanished
if the
into the trees.
in-game music is too loud, please just let
Mother's
us know.
work
Thank you, guys. You want to make sure your experience is
Yeah, you
ran
guys
on
can
great
over
change
as
the
vine
possible.
and under
volume,
branch,
and
and
I just
into the
need to know
forest
if the guys in the
feeling
chat
strange eyes
can
upon
hear
her. The girl
us
recalled
and the
mother's
game
scary
perfectly.
bedtime tales, and her
Thank
throat
you, Moni.
became bone dry.
Becca, we've had a question
Then
from
the
Progny
bad Lord
Fitness.
appeared. He greeted her
True to their name, they've
warmly
asked,
and bit his own
Becca,
wing.
what
"Come,
workouts
child,
do you
quench
do in
your
order to get
thirst,"
ready
he said.
to
So
chase
she
your
drank
prey?
her thick, dark blood and smiled with joy.
Okay, well, I will say Progeny
Passing through the
Fitness is my
graveyard,
fitness trainer.
menacing storm clouds
So
loomed,
he's
and the
he's
air
getting in there a
turned
little.
bitingly cold.
To
The girl was
chase my
shivering in her
prey.
thin clothes.
Great question.
Then a dark weasel appeared.
I
Cardio.
do an assortment of
his
workouts.
fingers
I do a lot of
crafted a wrist
cardio,
into a
obviously.
beautiful
But
dress.
I do everything from
Come,
cardio
child,
bar to
warm
a HIIT
yourself,
training
he
to strength and
coaxed.
body
So
weight
she
training.
clothed
I'm a
herself
former runner,
and smiled with
kickboxer
joy.
currently, and I train with Progeny Fitness.
Across waters deep and
Wow.
ominous,
I actually
went.
started out during the pandemic.
boat she found would
I've been
carry
working
her
out
home.
forever, but during the pandemic,
hunger
Adrian,
tightened
the
and
owner,
her
approached me and
heart
said, "Yeah,
grew
you should
heavy.
join." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a broke actor. That's okay." He's like,
Then
"No,
the fish
join."
king
So during
appeared
COVID,
and offered
I got a
one
trainer.
of his many fins. Come, child, eat your
I just
food.
love the
So the
beauty
girl
of this.
and
Yeah.
smiled with
I mean, a lot
joy
of people
once
have
more.
obviously referenced Tim Burton,
Continuing on,
and
she
I just think
soon
so
entered
much
the
about this
forest
game is
dark
experimental, and
Then an iron steed
the fantastic thing that,
bearing
that,
a
that is great is just to see
golden
the
gear.
extra, the sort of the
The
wider
creature said
audience that
nothing
Resident
as
Evil has
the
been
girl
opened up to, because it
approached
was
and
nothing like
snatched
this, 10
what she
years ago when
thought
we
was
started the
another
website.
gift.
But also to see how you guys, how the actors
The horse
themselves,
grew
how
angry
just how
and
kind and
summoned
generous
the
you've
other
been in just
monsters.
embracing us, the community, and
Terror
the fact that we
filled
have
the
such,
girl's
personal
heart as a
insight
wild wind
into
rose around
which
the
we'll come into,
beast.
to your work on set
Suddenly,
during the
a
game
witch
is a
appeared,
privilege. It's fantastic.
yet
And obviously you've got to
evil.
work with, unlike, again, I said when I started this website, the actors used to record separately in booths and never met each other. But of course, you guys all got to know each other and act alongside each other on set.
She snarled. So more
Yes
was due.
and no. We
a
did
moment,
work with each other
girl
in the
was trapped
volume,
inside
but
a mirror.
really, I only met the Dimitrescu family, and 'cause that's the only people I was actually in a scene
She's
with.
asleep.
And so a lot of us met at the table read, and that's it. Like, we never saw them again. And so
Well,
a
not the
lot of our
Star City
lines were actually
traditional.
recorded just in the booth.
A local
And so, because they
tale.
were doing all kinds of options for the fight
Besides,
scenes, and so most of
Rose
my
doesn't seem
time
to
was
mind.
not working with anyone
Because she
else;
doesn't
it was in the
understand
booth
it.
still.
Thank God.
But again, you've seen
We
me
moved her
doing
so she
mocap,
wouldn't
so
have to deal with any
I
of that,
did the
remember?
mocap
There's
and
nothing
performance
wrong with my
capture, I should
memory.
say, as well. But
just
yeah, a
being
lot of it was just booth
paranoid.
time.
It's not. Never mind. I'm sorry.
That's
It's
So
interesting.
cool.
I've been
I'm not
hogging the mic a little bit.
just
Joe,
cautious.
as a fellow voice actor, did you have anything you wanted to ask Becca in relation to that?
No, it's just an interesting observation.
I'll finish dinner.
I did all of my lines in seclusion, just myself in the booth, and this was before mocap was even used, of course. So I didn't get that
okay,
experience, and I would really
doesn't want
love
to
to be
remember.
involved with doing the
can't
mocap
blame
for
her.
one of the games. I doubt I'll ever get the opportunity to, because Capcom doesn't seem interested in using me again. But
Well, you never know. Pound
You never know.
pounding for contact Rosanna. Rosanna's the casting director and the producer of Resident Evil Village, and she's amazing. She's been a big believer in me, and I'm so grateful for her.
Did you
and
say
so,
something?
contact her again and
I'll
be like,
put her
hey,
down.
I was in it. I would love to do it again. By the way, it's so strange. Like, it's so interesting trying to talk, and then the game is on. I feel like I should not be talking. I'm like, oh, I should be quiet. You know what I mean? Because someone's like watching a TV show, for example, or playing a game. You don't want to be talking over them. So it's like, I never know if I should speak, if I should just watch the game. Watching, like play.
Well, look, I mean, we stream the game ourselves, of course, but believe me, Bekka, everyone in chat is very much here to listen to you. But of course, I think what we will do is we certainly won't talk over ourselves. We won't talk over the cutscenes when we're definitely going to be, seeing Bela on screen and uttering those very iconic lines. And I wanted to ask you about that. Obviously, the pronunciation, I believe, is Bela. Did they mention anything in relation to
Her
perhaps
birthday
Bela
will be here before we know
Lugosi?
it.
Is that where it comes
They
from?
grow up fast. Let's just enjoy it while we
No,
can.
they did not mention a correlation at all there. They just said the pronunciation. I think it's Romanian, is what at least I was informed initially, that they were doing Romanian dialects and it was set in Romania. But I'm not sure if they changed it to somewhere else in Europe, but that's where we were told initially. And Bela Dimitrescu is the
It's like I said to
pronunciation
your
of how
mom.
he would say it here.
That book's too scary for you.
Okay, that's interesting. And so you met your fellow sort of sisters and mother, but you didn't get the opportunity
Your mama and I love
to
this
sort
song
of
so much.
skewer Todd solely in person with your scythe. You didn't get to meet Todd.
Oh no, I did. Yeah. No, I did. I did. I shouldn't say that. So I don't know if you've seen the mocap scene that I have up online. I think it's on YouTube and Twitter, and I put it on like Facebook and Instagram. So there were definitely mocap scenes. I shot a lot of performance capture while I was there. So
Almost
Todd,
there,
that was one of the scenes. That was actually one of the most interesting scenes. I'm going to say comedic, but interesting scenes because, and Todd is phenomenal. Can I just say, Todd is such a sweetheart, so wonderful to work with. Was honestly the first person who came up to me and just gave me such a warm welcome when I joined the team, because a lot of people have been in previous Resident Evil games, and he came up and welcomed me, and he's a gem. So I had to hit Todd repeatedly, right? So thank God he's a nice guy. But my scythe, obviously it wasn't a real scythe. We had a fake created scythe, but the scythe that was made was kind of a foam material, kind of like a Nerf toy. And because it wasn't hard, it wasn't stiff. Whenever I would swipe him down, it would wiggle on the way down. So it had markers on it, just like we did in our outfits, in our cute little Velcro pajamas. But the markers on it would move because the scythe, wasn't sturdy. So I would hit. I said, being like, it would be like. It looked not
Can't
scary.
keep your mother waiting.
Not frightening whatsoever. And so we went through 3 different scythes until they actually got me a hard plastic one,
Don't you
which
worry.
of course I managed to
downstairs.
nip
Daddy knew what those
Todd in
little
the
fairy
leg
tale
with.
monsters get you.
It's hard to do it repeatedly and not eventually hit somebody, because you have to hit right between his legs in an area of his calf area. And so I'm going in between again and again and again. And I did nick him on one of the takes. He was kind about it, but I had to keep going as if nothing had happened. I hit him. I'm like, oh, mother fudger, I just hit him. And I had to keep going and pull it back, and keep going as if come with me. And at the same time, I'm like, oh, I hurt him. But there were mocap scenes as well. Not just voice booth, but a lot of it was. I think I would spend more time probably in the booth than I did performance capture. But yeah, it's because performance capture days are.
Is she okay?
You have to be efficient and quick. So we whip those things in and out. You know what you're doing. You are prepared. You go in and you do it because they're renting the space, and so it's one after the other. So we got through my scenes. I think probably all of our scenes as quickly as possible. And had more liberty in the booth to play around with try this and try this, and we would see our video a lot of the times and see what we did, and then we'd be voicing to ourselves.
It's just
voicing to playback, which that's I had to work that way because a lot of my game, the remake, was all animated it was all, a lot of that work was already done.
Now,
So I had to
Everything's
match
gonna be-
Seriously?
to the
Think we can just
pre-made
forget
animation.
about what
I
happened
wasn't
in
free
Louisiana?
to
it
just,
happened so long ago.
do the lines any way I wanted
I
to.
There was
don't
some of
understand
that
why you are
for this
so.
as well, and that's challenging, isn't it, Joe? Like, 'cause I was watching some of the things that they were crafting, and I'm like,
down.
okay, she's breathing, and now she's like, and then speaking, and then stopping. You know, so it's like it's interesting to try to match verbatim. ADR in general is a challenge for a voice actor,
you done
but
ADR?
super fun to be able to be in that booth and do it.
Have you done some ADR?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that makes me crazy when they have the
Not just
little,
for
God.
yeah.
say that again. I missed it.
Yeah, what makes me crazy is the beeps. You know, you get the 3 beeps, and then you have to drop in right on that 4th one.
Beep, beep. Yeah.
What?
For those who don't know, this is what Joe said, like there are a series of beeps, and when the last one hits, you have to be on point to say the line at that moment. And ADR is interesting because if you haven't done it, obviously people haven't, you have to match the lips. Not just in Resident Evil, like in any video games I've done, or even I've done ADR with films and television and other voiceover projects, or when you're dubbing another language into your native language. You have to speak when they speak, when they're opening their mouth, even if the word isn't matching exactly at that time. You have to like make sure you're breathing when they breathe. So it's interesting to kind of make that flow.
Yeah. Yes. My wife actually did ADR for an anime series called Gundam Force. She did like 11 different characters.
Yeah.
And
11, that's amazing.
Yeah. She knows all about that, how difficult that is.
So are you both actors, or specifically voice actors, or?
No, we both do a little bit of everything.
Hey, Doc.
I just do whatever anybody will allow me to do. It's like
I understand that, Joe, very well.
We'll be there.
No, I told you. Joe, where are you based?
She'll see
I'm
us
in
next
LA.
week.
Yeah, I've been here.
Okay, cool.
my whole life.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Positively,
yeah.
All right.
No, I'm a jack of
We
several
talked about
trades. I
this.
should say a
I
Jane
know.
of many trades as well. So it's what you can do to make a living. It's like, and it gives you more diversity and being able to experience more things as well, which is fun.
Worried about.
Absolutely.
Well, then what are you worried
I just
about?
love the whole.
Look,
I just love
she's gonna be
performing.
fine.
Whatever
I just
that
know
means.
it.
Music.
What else matters?
One thing I'm not is a dancer. Chris Redfield does not dance.
Matter.
Mia, what are you
I
talking
could.
about?
I wish I could.
Is there something you're not telling me?
Becca, we have a question from Goldheart 180, and Goldheart is a regular supporter of us here. Thank you, Goldheart. Thank you so much. Becca, she says you did a great job as Bela, and you're her favourite. How long? I think you alluded to this earlier, and it goes with the question I had. How long have you been mocapping, and was this your first foray into video games?
No, it's not my first foray, and I've been at for 20-something years, closer to 30, but not quite that far. I started doing voice work actually when I lived back in Ohio. I've been in LA for over 10 years now. And I started doing voiceover when it comes to commercials.
What are you talking about?
Man, when I was really young, when I was like the late 90s. I was doing like acting. I started acting when I was a kid, stage and such. But I didn't really get to do animation until I was here. I started doing a few auditions before I moved to LA for an animated series, cartoons. And when I got here, immediately I started doing voiceover. And then I probably about a year into it, or less, I met Rosanna. I applied. Actually, yeah, I think that's when it started. I applied on an acting website for some code-named game. And long story short, I actually ended up getting called back and booking it. And the game was leaked, and after we were shooting it, and it stopped. So that was my first foray. Started probably about that was crushing, about 9 years ago. And so, but I was Vicon's mocap actor for a number of years. I played Anya in the Gears of War 4 trailer, The Nightmare Reborn. Vicon, by the way, is a manufacturer of mocap cameras. And so I would go to conferences and showcases and things with them and perform and show them how motion capture works. I had a video game called The Descendants that I did voiceover and mocap for as well. So I've done. But Resident Evil's the biggest, you know. You say all the time, like actors are like, oh, so new actor, you've never seen her before, and then it's like that actor's been acting for 50 years. You know what I mean? But it's like until they get the big break, you don't know who they are, you know. But they're paying their dues. They're putting in not their 10,000 hours, their 10 million hours doing small projects, and just honing their craft. Trying to get better and better, trying to learn more and study more and be better. And eventually they get Resident Evil 8 Village. So, yay!
Always the way.
Thank God.
Right? Overnight
because I met Rosanna back then. Yeah, right. It's an organization. It only took 20-something years, but I met her back then when I booked that, and then basically every now and then I would get another audition, and eventually got this one. I actually applied for this one as well. And she's like, oh, Bekka, come on in. I'm like, oh, thank God. And got auditions, and then I had multiple callbacks, and I actually was up for different roles. Some of us were tested for several different roles before they placed us in the roles we got. So I was up for different roles, and this is the one. I got Bela.
That's fantastic. God, what a process, huh? Why do we put ourselves?
It's interesting. It's
but you do it,
yeah. It's honestly
because the end product is so satisfying. It's so gratifying to stand back and look at the final product. That's why you do it, you know. And you suffer through all that. You crawl through all that to get to those glorious moments of completion.
It kind of feels like you're Ethan Winters in a video game. It feels like you're Ethan Winters fighting for your life. A lot of you're crying, you're getting Lycans are attacking you, which is your competition a lot of times, and nasty other actors. You're like, no, and you're like fighting through. You're like, please, Mother Miranda, have mercy, But honestly, I loved, as an actor, Joe, I'm sure this is true of you. You love performance, but there are certain things that are in your wheelhouse more. There's certain things that you're more passionate about or enjoy more or more fitted for who you are as a performer and a person. And video games, voiceover work, performance capture is one of the things that absolutely, it's probably the best fit for me. Because I really love playing everything from like this innocent little child who's just a really good girl to like this evil dragon who will consume you all. It's like I just love like playing crazy and then nuts and fun stuff that you can't do normally when you're stereotyping into certain roles.
To do so much more than you would. That's the thing I love about voiceover is I get to play characters I would never play live because I would never be cast.
Right.
Voice is so much more versatile than my look. I have a face, I have a face like a catcher's mitt. It doesn't take me very far. So it's, I do the best I can, but voiceover is so much more freeing.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because like Neil Newbont, he plays Heisenberg, was saying the same thing. He was saying that, he gets stuck in certain roles, and that's great, but he likes to do other varied performances, and it's like, you get to do things that people wouldn't necessarily stereotype or like, brand you as, and that's so fun playing out of a stereotype, playing more than what people would think when they meets the eye, so it's a gift. And I just love playing eccentric, out there, like bizarro, crazy characters, so it's, where else can you do that, but video game world, it's like one of the best ways, And the fans are so bloody amazing, they're so supportive and so kind, and it's like I've never experienced a better outpouring of kindness and generosity than Resident Evil fans. So I'm just so grateful to be, after many years, in this game.
Thank you. Do you know? It's so lovely to hear you say that, Bekka. Thank you, and I'm so pleased that there's Resident Evil fans in the chat that can hear you say that, because I think, maybe obviously you get areas like this on particular social media platforms, but I know on Twitter I sometimes notice Resident Evil fans almost giving themselves a hard time about very, very minor, small levels of toxicity, but which you get in every fandom. Fans, as you know, taking games far too seriously. But I agree with you. It's lovely to hear. We are a great community, and we hear this from all the voice actors as well. So thank you for saying that, because I think in recent times, particularly with a game that is so ambitious, and does really take the game to those areas where Resident Evil hasn't gone before. There has been sort of debate and talk, and so thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Absolutely. The fans have been tremendous for the most part. It's been a wonderful experience for the voice actors and performance capture actors involved. And RE is gone. I mean, I think gaming in general has just advanced so much. It's cinematic. It's become cinematic in so many ways that it captures you and pulls you in. So just like an amazing film or television show would. And there's more, I guess, probably freedom when you're doing video games, because animators can create anything that you might be limited to creating in the real world.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you were asking earlier, sorry, we confused you with, all these names and then I'm Paul, but I'm also George Trevor, and you were asking me, and that just comes from my connection with the character. George Trevor is a character that you don't even see on screen. He's these iconic files that we find in the game, that tell us more about Bela and how she came about, with all the flies and that sort of thing. And so George Trevor was a character that I read about in a file we love them as much as other people like their characters in soap operas and on television. So, and that's why it's so great now. The production levels are so high that they do get actors of your standard, of your caliber, to play these characters. Because I mean, I'll let Joe come in on this. Joe has says that when these games were first sort of being produced in the late 80s, it would literally just be someone in the office. I think Joe, you were saying that they would just grab to perform some of the voices.
Oh yeah, before they realized what video games were going to become. They would get and pretty much anyone who was willing to do the voice, and that kind of stopped toward the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. You started to see some higher level voiceover work being done. You got to remember also, before the late 80s or early 90s, there wasn't a lot of talking in video games. Most of them were action based. You didn't have these cinematic cutscenes that you have today. And the evolution now is that the stories are much less arcade, and they are much more storytelling. They're much more cinematic storytelling now than they were back then. You just didn't have games that had a narrative. What the hell is wrong with this place? That really required having a professional voiceover person come in. Now. Voiceover
very true
is as high level as it is for any film. I've run into actors voicing feature films that same actors I run into going to auditions for cheese commercials. I mean, it's the same level is applied to video games these days, the same level of professionalism. And
absolutely.
One more step toward video games crossing that gray area into being a really seriously cinematic experience, and I think we're very close to that happening. We've got the computing power and the graphics engine power now to have visuals that require a high level of voice to look and sound right.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple of questions. Oh, sorry, Joe. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The fans.
I'm catching myself watching the game so much. So sorry if I'm distracted. I'm like, oh wow, get away. Sorry, I'm focused because on my screen I have the screen sharing, so I just see the video game. So I'm just like, Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
not
right,
a
we're
pro.
talking.
I'm not a pro player. I'm so sorry.
No, no, it's fantastic.
You're doing great, though. I'm like intrigued.
Well, yes, Monique, fantastic. Well done that you're managing to you haven't died once yet. We'll see what happens when you get face to face with Bela, though.
Yeah.
A couple of questions, Bekka. Thank you.
Yeah, let me live as long as possible.
Miss Eileen Valentine says you were her favorite character, and how did you get into voice acting, and did you do any particular training in order to do so?
Yeah, I started acting in general when I was a kid, and just through like stage. Theater is probably one of the best training grounds for acting, and voice acting is a kind of acting. It's a type of acting. So I would say theater is one of the best training grounds for actors in general, whether you want to be commercial, TV, film, voice, mocap, whatever. It's because you're getting out there, you're experiencing all different aspects of the genre. You're honing, it's like you're kind of honing your skills, and you're getting it training at your school for free. So it's like, what's better than that? But yes, after, and it's also, it puts you on the spot, because if you can do live theater, where you have all these people watching you, and you have to do it from beginning to end. You can't stop, you can't take another take, you can't cut. If you can do that as your training ground, by the time you get to on-camera work, you're more prepared. Because you know the show must go on. You know if you baffle your line, you can't stop. You know how to listen to others and how to connect with others, because you've been doing that. You've been, hearing what they're giving you and responding in kind, because I could, like if Joe said something to me, I'd have to change the way I responded to him, based on my listening, because acting is good listening. And you learn to research your characters, you learn to create backstories of your characters. And when you get, older, you might go and start, going to college, you might study theater and then learn Meisner technique or Stanislavski technique and things like that. And you get more advanced, but I think theater is a great training ground to begin. And so I did theater, I eventually went to on-camera commercial work, but I started doing voice work, when I was younger. I ended up having, in college, I started college when I was 17, and I ended up having 2 radio shows. One was music, and one was called Love Chat, and that was a talk show, and I started doing singing. Yeah, it was interesting. They cast me because it was 2 varied performers who have very different opinions talking about love, and relationships. And it's college, so everyone wanted to hear that, But I started singing as well, and I don't sing well, so don't ask me to. I started singing when I was a kid. I have a chorus voice, so I'm just not a soloist. But I started singing and training my voice when I was, how old are you in the 5th grade? I was a year younger from my grade, so however old that is. So I was, not even in my teens yet. I'm I don't know, 10, 11, and I'm training my voice. So from 5th grade on through 12th, I started training my voice from then until I was in all the limited ensembles and the elite choruses. So I was doing all that training through my senior year. So I had experience in theater, and I'd had my experience with my voice. And I'm just a dork in real life, pretty much. And so being quirky and goofy with character work is right? It's the best people are nerds, right? Just the quirky weird ball. Who wants a boring average person? Nobody, right? We all want to, it's unique people are more interesting, right? That's what I tell myself, at least. But so it's doing voice work. It kind of was just nobody's worried. Okay, so I also should back up. I also started being a disc jockey and a radio news anchor for a while. So I loved when I was doing radio work, because I could show up in when I was doing disc jockey, especially when I was a DJ, I would show up in a ponytail, high tops, t-shirt, cut off shorts, and be like, yeah, let's do this, It didn't matter what I looked like. No one's like, oh, let me fix your, okay, are you, okay, powder, we need more powder. Nobody's worried about that. I can just go and use my voice to convey emotion, to convey a story, to engage the audience. And that was so fun and so freeing. And so I was like, oh, I love being a disc jockey. I love doing these radio shows. Voice work, what would that be like? And so in Ohio, you don't really do animation or video games. not an option really. I don't have auditions for that. So I started doing commercial work, and that was super fun. And so I knew before I came out here, I was like, I want to do animation, video games. That's what I want to do, and like obviously cartoons. And so I started submitting to Fox. I started like sending information about myself to Fox, like, hey, gonna be in LA, really want to do this. And just started like out the gate, trying to get someone to like give me a shot. And I appreciate Rosanna for giving me a shot. But yeah, I've done various characters. One of my most popular characters is from Ever After High, which was a web series that went to feature films that went on Nickelodeon, and now we're on Netflix. And I play Kitty Cheshire, the daughter of the Cheshire Cats. And so Kitty's a little girl. She's really sweet, but she's kind of sassy. And, so it's been fun to transition. But yeah, so I've also taken numerous classes and courses for acting. I studied for 6.5 or so years with my friend and in a class, and also with my personal coach, Chris Williams. He is currently CW's Black Lightning, and he's been around for a long time. He's done so much, everything from the original 90210 to Heart of Dixie, to just so much. He's such an amazingly, brilliantly talented actor, and I got to train with him personally for 6.5 years. And so I've taken other classes and workshops and courses, and over the years, like so many, too many to list. But he's been one of my greatest assets. And I actually hosted a music video show where I was chit-chatting every day. And that the more you perform, the more you learn, the more you grow, and the better you are as a performer in general. Did that answer a long-winded question for you?
No, it's wonderful. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bekka, you were asking earlier, because I just wanted to mention that some people that are in the chat that are passing so much sentiment onto you. You asked me earlier about, when did we start this? I started the website 10 years ago, and I'm one of the people, his work is a devotion to Resident Evil and kind of breaking down the narrative that we have into a timeline is Stars Tyrant. Thank you, Stars Tyrant's in the chat, and he says hi. I know it's not a radio show, but would it be cheeky to ask you, Bekka, to say hi to Stars Tyrant, who's in the chat, and say hello? And
it's Stars?
Stars
Is it
Tyrant.
Stars Tyrant? Is that his name? Oh, nice. Okay. Well, of course, I'd be happy to say hello to Stars. Stars, this is Bela Dimitrescu. Just wanting to say hi to Stars Tyrant. Beware. Even though you may think you killed me, I could be revived. And I'm still on the hunt.
Wow, thank you. Bekka, thank you. And we had a question as well come in from Sonny Bauer. And again, it's sort of in a similar vein. I said that we'd only been doing the streams, the actual streams for the last year. And that was very much started with Sonny Bauer, who's an ex-member of our team. And Sonny sent some message and a question to you. Thank you, Sonny. Bekka, he says, got to be honest, I was disappointed that we didn't get more of Bela and Castle Dimitrescu. Your voice performance was so commanding. Because getting so much questions in the chat is going up. Your voice and performance was so commanding and full of charisma. Thank you for your work, and thank you for reaching out.
Thank you so much, Sonny. That's so sweet. I honestly was so grateful to be, performing as Bela. It was honest, like a kid in a candy store. I was just, when you get to do something you love and you get to, get the opportunity, it's so hard to get roles. And so to get something so iconic, I'm so touched at your kind words, and I'm just so grateful to be a part. So thank you. I feel like I'm the blessed one. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And to someone who's been one of our biggest supporters of these streams since they started, Bloody Eye. Bloody Eye says to you, Bekka, your performance, you absolutely killed it, pun intended. And I'll get to the question in a minute,
Thank you, Bloody Eye.
I've lost your question, Bloody Eye, because there's so much chat going on. Oracle Dragon, have you been collecting some of the questions? Oh, here we go. Sorry, Bekka. Here we go. Yes, Bekka. What are the differences between Bela and the other characters you've portrayed in terms of their characteristics? And that kind of goes into a question I had in terms of when you took on this role. Were you given sort of concept art? Were you given some kind of backstory or idea as to how Bela's characteristics were maybe different to her sisters?
You know, we had very, very, very limited information. In fact, after the game came out, I started like being able to learn so much. I crafted these things in my head. Ooh, Mother Miranda. So sorry, I was distracted by the game. But so much of the time, like we didn't know jack of what was going on.
Can you hear me?
And I was giving a little information about what they wanted my character to do versus the other females. Which I'll tell you about in a second. But honestly, when the gameplay began, it was like, oh, okay, we're watching the whole story now. Like parts, at least not even the whole story, but parts of the story that we hadn't seen before. Because even in the table read, we didn't even see the whole script. You only saw the pages you were on. So we really had limited information and no backstory at all. So I was watching some videos that players had done about and like backstories, and I was like, oh, we became from insects. Oh, that's crazy! Like, I had no idea, no idea any of this. That we visited the castle and we had taken the the potion. I had none of that information. So we as actors have to create something to make it make sense to us, so we can perform in some sort of reality of our own. What they did tell me was that you are the lead vampire sister. I should say the eldest, the lead vampire. We weren't called vampires. We were called witches at the time. So you're the eldest witch of the three. And we didn't even know vampires until I'm reading the thing. Oh, man blood. I'm like, oh, am I a witch? Am I a vampire? What's going on? Like, I literally don't even know until I'm like, I'm performing this tomorrow. Like, what are we going to do with this? But yeah. But I was told, and it could have changed. I'm not sure if the other girls got different direction as the game, continued. But originally, I was told that I was the in charge, the responsible, the one who has her wits about her, the smart one who knows how to get it done, more present, and the leader of the pack, basically. Versus Cassandra was supposed to be more just like, more of a sadist. She just really enjoyed destruction of him, and that was her sole purpose, was just to get, like, she enjoyed the play of it, and that was her main thing. And then Daniela was supposed to be the little brat sister, the youngest, who was like, the little like tantrum, wants what she wants. I think Nicole may have changed that to make her more lovey-dovey, but that was her original direction, I think, was making it very, like, I'm a little, like getting what I want, so versus Cassandra's hardcore, and then me being like the present and control one. So that was and then they told me, I said, okay, so what voice do you want me to use? Because I had, done different things. And they're like, oh, they actually like your voice. Because they said Bela's the sensual, powerful one. And so we actually like you to use, more of your sound than some of the other crazy ones or monstrous ones or what have you. So yeah, that was the only direction we had. And then we created, I created backstories from there.
I'm just glad to see normal people.
Because I had quite a nerdy question that relates to that. Because one of the things that I love, I know so many other people in the chat do about the game, is the files that we find that come up, as like written text on the screen, and just gives so much more depth to the characters and to the narrative. And I just wondered if Capcom had shown you, or if you have since seen, and it will come up in the game we can show it to you. There's a file that you find that details how Lady Dimitrescu turned her daughters, created, these manifestations and metamorphosed from flies into human bodies. And it's actually the artwork that comes with it is beautiful and very creepy. And there's great detail, which I think, as you as an actor, would love to have known about. I don't know if you've seen or knew about that.
I only knew about that after the game came out, seeing people who had found it and they were putting it online. The game was done. Obviously, the game was already out. So I'm like, oh, that's why I was like, oh, we came from insects. Oh, we're actually just forming these three women who had visited the castle. Didn't know any of that. Would have loved to know that, but I don't know if they knew that in advance and they were keeping it secret, because it is, if they developed it thereafter, because it's very, 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 very secretive. I think I mentioned I had done a game that we were shooting, and we had done facial. It was the character I'd done years ago would have looked just like me. We did facial capture, not just body scanning, and days of just that. And
You're welcome.
it was leaked, and so they're very, very. I mean, and it wasn't even that much information was leaked. It was just like people were shooting a game, and then they leaked it. They stopped the whole production for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, then they canceled it. So we don't get much information at all. And I think that's just to keep it as safe as possible from things getting out there and then doing spoilers and such. But yeah, I prefer to know more. I mean, as an actor, we want to know everything we can, so we can make it as true to life as possible. Just hoping that our decisions matched what they put together in the end. Hopefully, it sounds like you guys liked it for the game. So hopefully, we didn't let y'all down with our limited information.
Oh yeah, you did a wonderful job. Aaron, Oracle Dragon, did you have any questions that you've been picking up from the chat for Bekka?
Just 1 second. Alex Vitro did have one. He says, Bekka, you did amazing role, but can you describe us what the character was like, and was there any special approach to voicing her?
That's not my problem.
What's going on?
I'm going to stop real quick. I'm seeing, is there echo from, I'm getting it from my mic. Do you want me to, I can take off my headset, but I don't think it's going to help. Do you guys still hear echo?
No, we're okay. I don't know if anyone in chat could hear echo. I think you're fine. I was getting a little bit of echo from Joe's mic earlier, but that's absolutely fine now.
Okay, cool. I saw it's from Bekka's end, so I'm like, oh, do you want me to fix something? If you guys are getting bad audio, I can try to figure it out. So what was the question again? How did I play her?
How did you get into the role? And what did it describe to you to give you the voicing of the character? How did you approach the voice Bela?
How did I approach the voice? So actors, kind of bring a piece of themselves into every character. Well, I shouldn't say all actors, but a lot of actors will bring a piece of themselves into the character they play to make it their own. And so I think a lot of Bela is Bekka in a lot of ways. I know I don't trap men and destroy them and suck their blood or anything, but the idea of her personality traits. But then you have to take it to another level because these are mystical type creatures. So I try to bring myself to it, but then I play. I create a backstory with what I think she's gone through and who she is to this point. And then I take her character traits, like, okay, is she a vampire? Is she a witch? And I try not to do anything I've seen before. I try to make something unique to herself, to Bela. But I kind of just let it flow organically out of whatever I've researched. So for me, it was like creating a backstory of Bela and then bringing my natural instincts and my voice to her. And it kind of, I guess, as an actor, I used to be spending a lot of time studying and researching, trying to figure out exactly what she would be. But at this point of the game, being acting for a long time, I kind of just let it flow out of me based on what I've studied and thought through before. So I spend a lot of time just letting the lines sink in. It sounds really goofy, I know. Letting the lines sink in, and then creating the backstory of who I think she is, and then kind of letting it flow out of me when I'm there. Like when I was with Todd, when we were doing the scene, the man blood scene, I didn't really necessarily we blocked out where to stand and where I would hit, where I would walk in from, but I didn't block out. I didn't in my mind think I'm gonna go man blood. It just kind of comes out. It just whatever you're feeling is kind of flowing out at that moment. I didn't block out. I'm going to bend my head and slowly curve it up and smile. It just kind of how I performed it in that moment. So I think it's become hope at this point in my life. It's become organic. But again, I've done the research. I've already worked on my lines. I've already developed the backlog of the character in my mind. And then I just let it flow when I'm there.
Let us pray.
Yeah.
Hope that answered.
You do all the preparation, and then your instrument, knows what to play when you get down to it.
Gather.
Thank you for saying that so coherently. Thank you.
Just a quick bit of housekeeping. Bekka, we'll let you know when some of the cutscenes that relate to your character come in. You'll see them on the screen, obviously, and we'll refrain from asking questions and speaking over those so that you know that the fans in the chat can enjoy your performance.
As the midnight moon
Okay,
rises
cool.
on black wings.
Quick question, and guys, because I know there's a lot of cutscenes. I can see obviously there's one happening now. If we're talking over the cutscenes and you can't quite hear us and it's not working, let us know and we'll stop for these ones as well. Because this is the thing about the start of this, Bekka. Obviously, there's quite a lot of extended cutscenes at the beginning that really, get us into the narrative. But if we're okay for audio, a question from Batgirl. Bekka, she asks, what do you think, because it's such an iconic character, the way that the fans have taken to this, to Bela. What do you think about all the cosplaying, all the fans who've been cosplaying as Bela?
And I hope it protected her.
It's so cool. I love it. I love that people feel passionately about Bela, about the character, about the game, that they want to create her. But to me, it's like an ultimate compliment to. Because the game is more than just any of us actors. Resident Evil, Capcom Japan are brilliant. The aesthetics of this game that we're watching right here, just the writing of it, this dream fantasy world they've created, the beauty of the animation, the graphics, everything coming together, making it such a brilliant, brilliant piece. So I'm just happy to be a part of something so great. And so I think the cosplay of Bela is just an ultimate compliment to both the game, the creation of the game, hopefully us as actors as well. And I'm just, to me, it's just super, super flattering and exciting that somebody would cosplay a character that I did. It's like, yay! I did something good. So I just think they're beautiful. Every cosplayer that I've seen, so lovely. They've done such a good job. And people have asked, are you going to cosplay? I'm like, I haven't had time with all the promotions we've been doing. That was
going to be my next question.
I think I'll have to. Do it as well. Was it?
No.
Yeah, people are asking. It just takes time. I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some help. Figure out time to get a good costume. Gotta get the wardrobe going on, and gotta figure out if somebody wants to help me with a little henna tat or something on my forehead, that'd be great. Any recommendations out there? Soon through the tweet, and maybe George can tell me later. Contact so and so. But yeah, I'm super flattering.
I'm having my Chris Redfield cosplay outfit made by a friend of mine who is a professional costumer.
Are you?
Oh yeah, she's doing it. Her name's Lori
Oh,
Fitzsimmons.
nice.
And she's doing it all, from scratch. She's making a custom fit costume for me, and I'm hoping to go out and do some of the
awesome.
conventions when we can. Be great if we could do them together.
That would be so cool.
Get a bunch of the
Heck yeah.
Have a table. Why not?
For sure. That'd be. Yeah, it's gonna be when COVID permits and they let us do things again. So I think they're starting already. I think some events are actually happening and they're starting to book, I should say, for things. So yeah, it'll be exciting to be able to go out and meet the fans. But I'm going to have to bug you again, Joe, because I'm not going to remember that name, Lori something. So I'm going to have to bug you again and have you give it to George or email me so I can contact her and see if she's, with the prices. Hey, Lori, going to cut me a deal. But yeah, that's awesome.
She's very sympathetic and understands entirely.
She's based in LA too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, she's actually very close to me. I
Okay,
live in
cool.
Valencia.
Thank you.
I'm up here by Magic Mountain.
Okay,
She's very
cool.
close, so.
Shadow XGTS says,
Awesome.
Bekka,
I'm
the
in the
man
valley
blood
too.
scene with your voice and motion was absolute perfection. Gold Heart 180 says, my favorite Bela quote, you stupid man thing. I didn't know what that meant until my brother told me. I'm sure you've got your own favorite quotes from the game, Bekka.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think those are by far the most popular, man blood and you stupid man
The fire's
thing.
moving fast.
And she's trying to call him something bad and trying to think of it. There are so many lines that we actually even didn't use in the game. Because we record, I don't know if you've heard of some of, there's a YouTube video that has all of the Dimitrescu lines, all 3 daughters.
Step back.
And it's like,
We can bust out with
I
this.
think my lines are almost 8 minutes long of just lying straight through. But one of my favorites is, where are you going, little one? Like, I'm just, like, oh, where are you going, little one? Like, I just like that she's like, but yeah, honestly, I love them all. Like, it's like, they're just so fun. Because, like, she's, has presence and charm, and she's in control, but she enjoys this. She enjoys the hunt, and so it's just fun to play a fun-loving character until she dies, and it's like,
Villains are the most fun to play.
oh yeah, because you can go anywhere, you aren't restrained, and like, I don't know, I hope that all of us want to be like heroes in real life, good people. So being a villain, it's something you can't normally play in real life. You'd go to jail, or everyone would hate you, and then you'd be a terrible human. So we get to play them, So it's like there's so much range. There were no boundaries.
Yeah,
or less, I should say, boundaries.
And bad
than a
guys
villain.
always think that they're good guys.
Yeah.
They're doing
Antagonist.
it for all the right reasons.
Oh yeah. There's a reason. I need to please my mother. This is how we live.
Sure.
It's his stupid fault anyway. How can I not do this? My mom is depending on me. I mean, have you seen how tall she is? Hey, and my sisters, they can't handle anything, so I have to take care of them myself.
And try not to breathe in the smoke.
I know. Thank you, Ethan.
Can I ask a random question now?
What was the question?
Yeah, no, Oracle. Yeah, absolutely. You take the mic.
Once we get out of here.
Do you think Bella and her sisters are secretly trying on Lady D's dresses and hats and having a fashion show, or even just standing on top of each other wearing it?
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. And they're fighting over who gets to be on top when they're stacking it, to be as tall as she is. No, they're totally in her wardrobe. They're totally like, she has numerous hats, in my opinion. And so when mom is not looking, they're all putting on the hats and trying to be Lady D, right? Come on, let's be real. But they can't wear shoes. I mean, they can kind of pull the dresses and make them tight. The shoes are too big. And this woman's ginormous, But oh yeah, but they're still competitive even over that. Like, who gets to wear the dress the longest? And
Yeah,
who wrote that? That's hilarious, by the way.
Oh, that was my question.
What? Oh, well, that was an adorable question, Oracle Dragon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to wonder how many calories per day Lady Dimitrescu requires. She's a big girl.
Seriously, especially when she turns into other beasts. Oh yeah.
That's a 4,000 calorie a day girl right there.
That's why she needs her blood. She needs it more than most. She has more to fill.
I wonder if Hello Fresh delivers, bottles of blood. They have a special. Anyway.
What was that?
Maybe not Hello Fresh, but maybe she could go into the dark market or the dark web and find something. I don't know. I'd recommend none of us do that, but hey.
Hello, slightly off, maybe.
And I know you guys you work very closely, don't you, with the voice director during the scenes. I think is that Steve Kniebly?
Yes. He actually directed everything from the performance capture when we were in the room that we're in is called the Volume. It's like a huge gymnasium, right? It's called the Volume.
Yeah.
That's so much more impressive than like the gym.
Yeah.
Or the large room. With lots and lots of cameras. So but he's also in the booth with us. Well, not in the booth with us, but he's in a separate room because there's, we're in the booth. It's like a room, so we're 4 walls, whatever room, and then there's a glass panel, and they're behind the glass, and so he directed everything, and then we had. Rosanna was there for everything, who's the casting director producer, and Steve Kniebly was obviously there directing everything, and also they were both present for the casting. Steve was there for the casting, and making a lot of the decisions. And but then they also have a team of people. Capcom Japan was present in all of it as well. When we were doing all the performance capture, they flew in, and they were all, I mean, so many people were there. Everything from a translator to the animators to, I mean, just so many people were present during, so they could give feedback and talk through it. In the same way with when we were doing the voice work, they were not in LA during that time, but they were, they were in the booth with us because they were, what's it called? Like, I don't know if it was phone patch or if ISDN, but basically they were connected so they could hear everything. After every take, the mic would go quiet, and they'd be talking amongst themselves, and so it's quiet for me. I'm just like, what if they like it? Do they like it? How do they like it? Okay, no, they like it. Oh, they don't like it. Okay, three more. So they were chiming in, and they would talk, and then it would be translated, and then they would tell me, and then I would do it again, So yeah, they were present. Everyone was present for everything, pretty much. So it was great. It was great though, because then they got to know firsthand like what was working, what wasn't. But yeah, Steve directed everything, and I'm sure he was getting feedback as well. But yeah, I think he did the last game as well. He just, he had a great vision and went straight forward, and they have a lot of trust in him, I'm sure. So it was great to be a part of the process with all of them. It was amazing.
He's done a few games now for them, hasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't want to misquote though. I haven't researched Steve's background fully. I know he's done 2, but I don't know if he's done more than that. So I don't want to misspeak and be like Bekka said. But no, I didn't know. So I'm not positive. At least 2. We'll leave it with I'll have to IMDb it later. So IMDb.com and find out for sure. So I'm not in trouble for misquoting because I'm not positive how many.
I don't know if you can see now, Bekka. We've got a scene with Neil Newbond playing Heisenberg.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's so talented.
We did a great interview with Neil.
There we go. Oh, good. He's a UK boy, so hey.
And you're doing so well, Moni. You've kept alive. We're coming very soon. We're going to be very soon seeing you, Bela, seeing you, Bekka. It's so almost interchangeable because now that you guys do the mocap, it's literally like talking to Bela at the same time. So I'm kind of pleased you're not doing the cosplay as well. I'd be even more confusing.
And my daughters do so love
like rest in it. Although I may not do a blonde wig. I may just use my hair. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Get some Angie action.
Oh yes, I'll keep quiet for this bit.
Shut the fuck up!
What?
Love Angie.
You mean you'll screw around with him in private? Where's the fun in that? Give him to me, and I'll put on.
It was great to see Paula doing that wiggle when she put it online. Actually sing it to it. It's nice.
She's so adorable.
Man's dick is cut off in the castle. Blah blah. Blah.
I've heard all your arguments. Some of you were less persuasive than others, but
after this scene, Bekka, I'll let this scene play out, and then we've got some more questions for you.
Heisenberg, the man's fate is in your hands.
Mother Miranda, I must protest. Heisenberg is but a child, and his devotion to you is questionable. Give the mortal to me, and I will ensure he is ready.
Shut your damn hole! And don't be a sore loser. You'll find your food somewhere else.
Quiet now.
And there's Maggie, of course. I mean, that must have been wonderful acting alongside, doing the motion capture alongside Maggie as well. That must have been great.
Oh, keep glory! One day your head will actually fit your ego.
Well, it was great. It's always great when you have people to work with, work off of, for sure.
My decision is final. There will be no argument. Remember from whence you came.
Thank you. Huh. Lycans and gentlemen, we thank you for waiting.
And it's interesting because we can see, they really did just embrace so many characters and so many sort of different themes. Was there were you aware on set during the time kind of almost how experimental and how much more you know, I mean, even just this whole gothic and vampiric theme had never been played out in a Resident Evil game before.
5, 4.
Yeah, we knew a little bit because we did do a table read, but even the table read was only the first act. And so, and as I said, we only had, like, we would get envelopes. I don't want to talk over, should I talk over the game or should I wait till it's over? Wait, they told me not to talk yet.
Yeah, no, I was.
Should I wait till this time's over?
Yeah, I think the guys in chat can be helpful in letting us know if we should wait for some of these scenes. I mean, we'll definitely keep quiet for the scenes that involve yourself. I just, no, I was mindful that we were keeping you there in silence, Bekka. I felt quite bad, so I kind of broke my own rule. But guys in chat, let us know, because again, I mean, this is the wonderful thing about the start of this. It's kind of almost like an interactive movie that you do get quite a lot of extended cutscenes that really kind of just immerse us, into the atmosphere right at the start.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What I was saying is basically we knew some things. Like we got the envelopes, and we all had our own envelopes with our own names, but they were only our sides. So our sides are parts of the script. And so, like I might be on page, 29 and 64 and whatever. And so I would be like, who's talking? Who has page 1? They would start. When they finished, who's on page 2? Like literally, we never got to see anybody. And so people were talking. I'm like, I wonder who they're playing. Like Heisenberg? I'm like, who's Heisenberg? You know what I mean? Like I didn't have his name in front of me, so I didn't know who it was. And so somebody else was talking, and like, they might reference Mother Miranda, but I didn't know what was going on, who anybody was. None of us did. It was all very, very limited. And so we're trying to piece together. We only have our pages, so we're trying to listen to what's going on. But we can't see, Heisenberg is the one who's talking right now. I don't know who this person is, you know what I mean? And so I don't even think he was there that day, in fact, because he was in the UK. But it's like, people were reading different parts, and we're like, I wonder who they're voicing right now. We have no idea because we don't have the full script. And so, but you read your part, and you're like, oh, okay, we're in a castle. Okay, this is interesting. But we don't know how beautiful or ornate it's going to be. We don't know what the animators are going to create that castle to look like. So we get basically bits and pieces. And so honestly, actors have to have imaginations, especially in voiceover and video game world. I've always been under NDAs for projects, right? NDAs are non-disclosure agreements, meaning don't talk to anyone. We will sue your pants off if you do. And so pretty much tell like if you don't know what NDA is, that's what it is. You will threaten your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll out, So, so I've had NDAs forever, but like video games seem to me so far, and voiceover work in general has had the strongest NDAs of anything I've ever done. I think they just really, really prize, surprising their fans with nothing leaked. So, yeah, so you have to have a good imagination as an actor because you don't know what you're doing half the time.
We've got a double question for you, Bekka, involving hobbies. Just getting to it now. Bear with me, guys. Yes, so this comes from Adith. Bekka, what are some of your hobbies or ones that you want to start but have just been too busy to do? And Alex Velcho asks, Bekka, what's your headcanon for Bela's hobbies? And what do you think she's doing when she's not chasing stupid man things around?
Well, unlike me, Bela probably doesn't have to work out a lot because she's insects anyway, and she has this mystical power to like form herself and unform herself at her whim. So yeah, I spend a lot of my time, right? That'd be a nice. So I spend a decent amount of time working out, trying to stay in shape. I think health is important, in general. I want to be a healthy person, and honestly, a lot of people in my family have a lot of health diseases. When I was growing up, like, oh, what do you have? When you go to the doctor, like, look on the list to tell us, what you have in your family, and I'm like, check. So from a young age, I try to take good care of myself. By the way, I had to say I love the Duke. I'm seeing the Duke right now. I'm going to interrupt myself and say he's fantastic. Aaron is hilarious. He's in this role, but he's just hilarious in person as a human himself. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So anyway, but health-wise, I started working out when I was really, really young. But also as a performer, especially for performance capture, I want to be able to do anything. I was in a mocap class Look ahead, you have to find a
often
way to
fills the
mocap
purse,
motion capture,
as
right?
they
So
say.
find a way to run and and at the end you want to do something, something cool, a jump or something. And so the end, I ran and did a somersault, flipped onto a mat. I want to be able to do that if I get cast as a character. I want to be able to do something cool or fun, or be able to jump and run and kick, and that's why I do kickboxing. Things that make me more usable. More viable as an actor. So one of the reasons I work out and health, I just want to be healthy and not die. In good shape is that I
You don't
spend,
have the option of
if I have free
drinking blood.
time, which during this time,
Could Rose be here?
right? Yes, Bella spends a lot of her time drinking things. The family wine, right? We have the wine. But yeah, so I spend, if I have free time, which I don't right now during RE days, but I spend time with my family and friends. My family is mostly in Ohio, so I see them when I can. But I talk to my mama like every day, and then I have some amazing friends that I try to spend time with. I'm big into hiking. I love hiking. I live in California, so as much as I can, not often enough, I love going to the beach. It sounds like a dating app. I love hiking, going to the beach. Sounds like a
don't let us,
ad, doesn't it? Not purposeful.
No, I was going to just say, just don't tell them what you do.
So yeah, so I am physical outdoors in general. Yeah, we'll limit there. But yeah, so I love being outdoors in general. I love film. I love watching good film. And TV has come such a long way in the last 10 years as well. I love music and television, so I love to immerse myself in watching amazingly talented actors do their thing, because we love story. As humans, it's why we love Resident Evil. It's why we love video games, because they are now, like Joe was saying earlier, they're stories. And humans love stories because it's a way to communicate and take us to another level out of our own reality, and to have fun immersing ourselves in the beauty of something that we aren't normally privy to. So we love storytelling as human, and to be able to tell a story and touch somebody, like Joe earlier was saying about as an actor loving to perform. I should stop talking.
Yes.
To be continued. What I like about acting in a minute.
Man.
And that's when I hit Todd.
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
You are so kind to me, daughters. Now, let's take a look at him. Well, Ethan Winters. You escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
Yes, Mother.
Yes, Starting to go a little stale.
Then let's devour his man flesh quickly, Mother. I am the one who captured him.
Now, daughters. First, I must inform Mother Miranda. But later, well, there will be enough for everyone. Put him up.
Hey, wait. Let me down!
Oh, be careful what you wish for, Ethan Winters.
Wait, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all performance capture too. So we did do that scene and string him up, and I did cut his hand, and we did elevate Todd. Yeah, he was such a good sport. We put him through so much, even in like as an actor, like me hitting him and like elevating him above us. And speaking of elevating above us, we always had to cheat our eye line.
Well, so he had to.
For mother. For our mother. Yeah, he was up. He was. Yeah, right. I mean, I didn't actually take a knife and cut him. It was all fake cutting, but I took, my dagger and I cut, so he's like, and then we actually hoisted him up and he's on the ground and he's everywhere. The poor guy is like just crawling. I mean, he really took one for the team.
If I
took
can
a lot
quickly,
for the team, I should say.
You mentioned it before. If I can squeeze in there, Bekka, thank you, because a Stars Tyrant asks, Bekka, what was it like working with Todd? Everyone talks about how professional he is, and he's made Ethan such a memorable character for the series.
He's amazing. He is such a sweetheart. I mean, I think I mentioned he's the first one who came up to me. He may have been the only one who came up to me and like welcomed me to the game. Like he made a point to be like, "Hey, Bekka," because he was actually the project I aforementioned. He was also in the project I aforementioned that was cut, that got canceled. And so he's like, "I knew I recognized you. You were in blankety blank," and I was like, "Oh, you were too." And so it was because we didn't work together yet at that point. We were cast, together. But we hadn't shot together yet, and so it was great that he remembered me and that he came up to me and then he was like just so friendly. He sat down and had lunch with me that day, and just a sweetheart. Like a lot of people, they don't. In life, in general, people often don't branch out to the newcomers, They don't make an effort to be like, oh, this person hasn't been in other games with us, or this person may not know anybody, or this person, let's reach out to them and make them feel welcome, included, wanted. Because a lot of people do know each other there, They've been in previous games. And so he took it upon himself, come over, introduce himself, and talk to me and sit and eat with me. And sweetheart, like nobody did that but Todd. And I'm a big fan of Todd, but he's super professional as an actor. Dealt with me, hitting him. I mean, obviously that was not ideal, but like he didn't complain or yell or bemoan it. He didn't "Oh, Bekka, why did you do that?" Like, aim better, he was so he was cool. I mean, doesn't want me to hit him again, I'm sure, but he was not nasty about it at all. He was on point, always, ready when he needed to be ready, knows what he's doing. Was a great person to have around because you knew he was on point, and he somebody who's been on set numerous times, somebody who's been in the game numerous times, somebody who has that much experience, you're going to look up to, you're going to respect, and you're going to take your cues from. So if he would have been a hot mess, maybe the other things would have been a hot mess too. But he was on point and kind of set the tone for everybody else, to be honest. Sweetheart.
Have a wonderful adventure.
So glad he's in this game, and so glad to be able to work with him finally again, for real this time, and it came to fruition.
Well, I mean, I won't go into too much detail because these are characters that are kind of extended from your own, but I just love the fact that characters that we all enjoyed in Resident Evil 7 that we really didn't think we were going to see again. I remember interviewing Katie O'Hagan, obviously who plays Mia Winters, and Oracle Dragon will say she was in that interview with us and Joe, and she was so wonderful with us. And I remember after the interview just thinking, oh, just what a shame that we're never going to hear from Katie again, that she's just never going to be seen in the series again. And so it was wonderful to see them, and of course the new actors in yourself, and Maggie as well, and seeing, of course, as you're all just such a part of the Resident Evil family now. And I think, am I right to think that later today and again tomorrow that you guys you're doing something, aren't you? I think a signing and also a stream with Nicole Tompkins.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But I'm gonna address the Katie thing first. I'm thinking, because these women like Katie and Paula, and like Sarah Coates, they're so talented. Even though, and it's great that they brought Mia back, but I could just see them using them as other characters like that, just like they did Paula. They made her Angie. So I'm hoping that you will still see, Katie, Sarah, Paula, and others, come, and Neil and others come back to life in either that form or in other roles in the future, because they're brilliant, you know. So it would be a shame to not reuse these great actors. We can vary our voices, you know, or, you know, bring me back from the dead. I don't know, however you want to do that. But yeah, we have a lot going on. This is kicking off with you guys here at Crimson Head. We're kicking off Insanity Weekends, and I'm not saying weekend, I'm weekends. So tonight we are having this like rap party extravaganza where Capcom is having us give avatar codes, and there's like giveaways and all this stuff happening, and it's going to be on Nicole Tompkins' Twitch live stream. And then tomorrow we have great. We have a signing with the House of Dimitrescu tomorrow. Starting, depending on your time zone, it's 2 Pacific time on Sunday, and then on so I'm like watching the game now. And then Monday we're going to continue it because we've sold so many trio posters, and then next Sunday the following week we'll be doing it again on the 13th, and on the 12th I'm doing a solo signing, which is just Bela prints versus the prints of all 3 of us. Signing. Okay. And then obviously, you know, Jeanette, Cassandra, her character will be in the poster as well.
Oh wow! Oh, that's beautiful.
Say again?
The prints? Where do the prints come from? Who generates the prints?
Us. We actually did it all, which is really interesting. Like, they contacted me and said, "Hey, are you in Streamily?" And I was like, Stream a what? I'm taking it as a no. Like, what is that? So basically, streamily.com/Bekka Prewitt or streamily.com/Resident Evil. Resident Evil will show you everybody's prints, and my page is streamily.com/Bekka Prewitt will show you my prints, which includes the trio print. And we call it the trio print because 3 of us are signing it. It's basically Lady D and her 3 daughters. And so they house us, meaning they house the posters. It's a platform for us to sell the print that we are signing, and they take out a commission from those sales. But we have to create the prints, you know, find images as best as we could, Photoshop logos onto them, and buy them ourselves. So I paid for all my prints. So if you buy them, you're buying them from me, and I'm giving Streamily a percentage of what you pay for. So yeah, we actually did it all, which I didn't notice. I had no idea that the actors, are they normally the ones who do it all? I had no idea. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'd be happy to do this with you guys. That's great, cool, you know. My novice person, Bekka, just didn't realize. I didn't know if like productions did that, or who did that. So I guess do that. So yeah, we put it all together. So you're buying it. I basically paid for all the prints, and then if you buy them, and if not, they sell out, I'll buy more, and if they don't, well, then I'll have a lot of Bela prints.
We'll put links, Bekka, in the chat now, so all the fans can find out. And I think we'll put a link to your Twitter, because that's probably where it's best to hear updates on what you're doing. And I know Instagram as well you're on, so we'll put all the links to that in the chat for you. And going back to your opening scene just now, Brett Vire says that they love that little wave that you do at the end, and I know it's just a small thing, but actually there are little things that kind of give each daughter their own kind of personality.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cassandra was so cute, because when Jeanette played Cassandra, she made at that point the handkerchief was down, so she got to play with that, and that was cute. But yeah, I just was like, because I like to toy with him, I'm like, I know I'm coming back for him later, so I'm like, ta-ta. So thank you. Yeah, that was super fun.
I do have another random question. Do you think Bella's going to see the Duke when he's visiting the castle and secretly getting cheesecake from him?
Of course.
I think she is visiting the Duke. I don't know if she likes cheesecake. I guess she could, even though I don't like cheesecake. Yeah, she's probably getting what she weapons, I think, for sure. And she's probably striking deals with him. the Duke has something mysterious about him that nobody knows and can quite figure out. And we all know he has something up his sleeve because you like him, but then you don't exactly trust him. So Bela, I think, knows that secret that the Duke has. I think she knows his history and she knows how to work him. So I think they have some kind of plot going on. And maybe if there's a prequel, you can see what the plot is.
Uncle Duke comes back. Hey, I revived Bella. Do anybody want to, there? How'd you revive her? It's a secret.
And you mentioned Aaron, who plays the Duke. And I don't know if I'm right in thinking. I heard some rumors that the Duke was actually going to be one of the lords, and actually had a much greater role, a much bigger part. But you're right. I mean, I saw Aaron's tweet online. I'm sure lots of fans did, where he was proclaiming his love for his Millennium Falcon that was in his lounge. I mean, that was the first I'd seen of him kind of outside of his role, and I found that very funny. He seems like he's great fun.
He's hilarious. I actually hadn't heard that he was going to be a lord, though. I heard that originally I thought his part grew. But I could be mistaken. So
no,
but I thought his part, like the Duke part, grew because he was so good. Like, he was so a pleasure to work with, and he was so good, and the voice was so awesome. I feel like they made it even bigger, but who knows? They could have done many derivations of, I mean, I'm sure as writers, they have things like, oh no, let's make it this, and let's try this, and so they may have crafted things in and out. It could all be true for all I know. Because things change, you know, and in post they change, so.
You have the inside line, I'm sure.
I think he was also like me. I think a lot of us were reading from the start.
Well, were there on that subject? Were there any lines?
I have a little bit of insight, not a lot. Oh my gosh! Like, there's maybe I'll send you the link. There's like 2 videos that I found. They're like 7-minute or 8-minute video. No, I have 8 minutes of lines. A lot of them you don't see it here in the game, and it depends on. I've noticed, I've seen different people do different gameplays with Bela, and I've seen like, oh, these lines I say here. Oh, these lines I say. And they're not the same line, so I don't know if like it depends on the level. Because when I was playing, I was like on the, the casual level, not the standard, because I'm not very good at games.
The standard is quite hard.
So maybe like I heard less because I was on that baby. It is. I'm like, I can't. That's above me. So, and there were obviously. So I don't know if like if you let her live longer, she says more, or at different levels she says different things. But I noticed watching different people's videos, I was like, oh, I'm seeing Bela say this, and now I'm seeing Bela say that. I said Bela say that, and I'm like, oh, so I don't know if it's different levels or if she lasts longer. If you let her, you don't kill her right away, she talks more. Yeah. But there are so many lines, literally 8 minutes of just me talking and doing efforts and sounds, and that's not, a lot of it isn't in the game. Or maybe it is in different levels, and I haven't played all the levels, and I don't know.
Are you guys
Many
ready?
of your fans in the chat.
Are you guys ready for Bela right now?
Thank you. Yes, thanks, Moni. Okay.
This is the moment, and this is the moment the Brazilian fans were waiting for. So let's hear.
Oh,
you
have to tell me why after.
I can't believe Cassandra caused all this mess. Such a handsome face.
Oof.
A healthy man's blood. I can't wait. Innocence is bliss. I need blood. Warm, wet, bright red blood.
I'm trying to make her talk more.
Yes, don't die. Don't let her die.
Also,
don't kill her yet.
About this sentence that she says about the mask, the Brazilian voiceover actress, she said in a very funny way, she says, Não acredito que a Cassandra fez essa zona toda.
Give up yet?
And it kind of became a meme.
Oh, I want to see the meme. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you'll have to send the meme to Bekka, Moni.
Yeah, because
Yes,
the way she
please.
says zona toda, it's so funny, and people were like making lots of memes about it.
I was actually quite curious, Moni, because it's interesting. Obviously, you have a full cast of actors that do the Portuguese, and so I mean, in Brazil, it's like as a fandom, is there? I mean, I imagine there's great interest for the English cast as well, but I imagine is there also great interest for the Portuguese cast? And I imagine you yourself must have interviewed some of them.
Yeah, this is the first game that we had a version in Portuguese, the first Resident Evil game, so it was very expected from the fans.
Wow.
To know Lady D's voice, for example. So we were very excited about it.
Not bad.
Excuse me, Bella. Excuse me.
I'm tired. Let me help.
Doesn't let me go. Sorry. Sorry, Bella.
Ah! I'm kidding.
I know Moni's definitely trying to keep you alive as long as possible, Bekka.
Thank you.
I did my best.
Moni, I appreciate it. Oh, here we go.
I dated a girl just like her in college.
Now there's a lot of suffering.
Give up! Impertinent man! Not like this.
Cold there.
Oh boy. Ah, damn it.
Right in mid jump too.
Sorry, what?
Right in mid jump. She was like.
How dare you bare your teeth at us!
Oh no.
There she goes.
Pieces.
No.
I always felt sorry for the daughters.
You know what I think? Insects can survive ridiculous temperatures. So maybe her human form crashed. But hey, maybe the insects can revive and turn her back into Bela.
And who knows? Maybe there's a random fly
Who's bad
somewhere
right
just
now?
waiting.
Well, we've had so many comments. There's been too many to read,
Right?
Bekka, of fans saying that they just would love to have some DLC just to find out more. You know, whether it's an origin story. You know, we were discussing that file earlier. You know, where sort of Bela comes into existence. So you know, fingers crossed. We'll and as you were saying before, perhaps not as Bela, but in a different incarnation. We'll hopefully be seeing you again. I know you'll be under strict NDA so that you can't tell us. But you know, who knows? We might be seeing you playing a different character in Resident Evil 9, if not Bela.
Yay.
Well, hopefully if people contact Capcom Japan and say, bring Bekka back, or bring Bela back, or bring something. Yeah, it's all up to Capcom. So hopefully if fans pour out their support, maybe we'll get some of us back in. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, in the fans just ADF saying that I hate seeing one of my favorite characters die, and this is the thing, you know, these have been such iconic characters that have really been, you know, really kind of piqued the imagination of so many fans, and you know, testament to your performances and the way that you've embraced these roles. So thank you so much, Bekka.
Our pleasure, absolutely our pleasure. Like, of all the games to be in, like, it's such a joy to be in this one, you know, because you don't know what you're going to really be given. You know, you do your best with what you have, but sometimes in different roles as an actor, some are more limiting than others. And this one, you just got to play. We just got to really make them our own. And based on the writing that we were given, just really bring our voices to these characters. And it's such a joy, you know, to do yeah, right? It's just so joyful to be able to.
You're sure
I mean,
to
honestly,
find something
it's a gift.
It's playing like little kids play. That's what I love about voiceover is you close your eyes and you go off into a completely different land of make-believe and you become these characters, and the closest thing I can liken it to is playing as a child. You lose yourself in so completely, you know.
I'm
not interested, I suppose.
We just don't allow.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Oh no! Well, especially as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't. We get so focused on like the grind and, you know, our responsibilities. So we don't get to go into our imagination. Honestly, as a human, the only time I get to go into my imagination is when I'm acting, because I'm so busy with, you know, being responsible and paying my bills and doing what I need to do. And but there's also something else that I love as a voice actor. It's probably the main reason I'm a voice actor or an actor in general is I was talking about storytelling earlier. Power of storytelling, I would say video game, TV, film, and music. Music is so powerful as well. It's a way to reach people on a level that my mere words wouldn't. Like, I can just sit here and talk all day, and it's not going to move you as much as it is when it's crafted a story around it with dynamic characters and like, you know, protagonists and antagonists and all the in between, and then the beautiful visuals, and we get drawn in. And then as an actor, my words then have power to encourage, convict, challenge, make you laugh, entertain you, make you afraid, make you think of things differently, open up your mind. And that's a beautiful gift to have. And I don't think it can be understated that it's a responsibility and a gift as an actor to bring part of yourself to that and to try to have an influence in a positive way on somebody. That's the most beautiful thing to me about acting, is to be able to connect with people who are watching this right now that I don't even know, but I'm connecting with you in some way, and that's treasure.
And you are giving that person an experience that they would not otherwise be able to, experiencing it through your gift of acting, through you taking the time to learn how to become a con for that experience so that they can understand. I liken it always back to cavemen telling stories around the fire after a hunt. And they're telling, you know, they're acting out the hunt, and this big animal that we brought down, and here's how we did it. And the tribe then gets to understand how the hunt worked and how, you know, what your hunters went through, and you know, so and so got gored, and this is how it happened. I just think that that's a primal and needed, necessary aspect of human life. And as actors, we get to become that. We get to become that conduit to a larger experience that most people won't get to have without someone giving it to them, either through a play or a conversation or a movie or a piece of music. You know, how often have you listened to just a piece of music, no dialogue, no action, but that music takes you to a place, to an experience that you could not otherwise make real. You know, the music brings you there. The music gives you.
I completely agree. Completely.
And that's what we're doing with.
I love how you say conduit to a larger experience.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah. Completely agree. You know, it's another level of existence, and it's to be able to go somewhere outside of your own space, you know.
Right,
exactly. Which is beautiful to be able to be a part of it. To me, it's a gift to me to be able to give that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a blessing, it's a gift, it's a joy, it's an honor, you know.
It really is.
So yay.
And I say, just from a fan's perspective, and just echo the words Sonny Bauer says in the chat as well. You know, Joe, you have a way with words, and Bekka, thank you so much. What you've both said as actors speaks to Bekka. We were talking behind the scenes about what the circumstances and why I started the website 10 years ago, and the first Resident Evil game that I played, I was just so immersed into the atmosphere and the storytelling, and took me away from what was going on in my life at the time that was challenging, and it was a way that I could just detach myself from a situation that was happening. And what just helped with that so much, obviously, was the performances. And Joe was in that game, and he'll tell you the way that he voiced Chris Redford, it wasn't like as an over the top kind of generic Captain America. There was a lot of almost like melancholy and sadness in the voice in certain situations where you needed it. And I was just completely taken away. And I'm rambling now, but just hearing what you said, everything that you just said, Bekka and Joe, I'm sure the fans as well in the chat just spoke to why I'm still talking about this series like 10 years or 15 years on.
Right.
Well, that's beautiful, though. That's super beautiful, and it's beautiful that Joe, it sounds like you were grounded in reality. You weren't like trying to create a character, like a radio voice. You were, making him humble and real and struggle. I mean, the human existence is struggle, and so it's beautiful that Joe's work and in acting in general can touch somebody and take them to a different place. Or at least bring some hope, and and that's beautiful that time in your life. You turned this into something for other people, George/Paul. I like to do something with the trouble that you were having and bless other people. Now that's a gift.
We're all gifted in certain ways. Let's give those gifts away.
And just going back to the DLC, Bekka, yes. I truly believe there's a chance. The reason of hopefully seeing your characters, you as performers again, and the reason I genuinely believe that is because Capcom really weren't expecting your character, Maggie's character, to resonate with the fans as much as they did, and I don't know if you're aware, there was some complaints from fans just that they wanted more of Lady D. They were a little bit surprised how early on during the game she dies, but I think that very much comes from the fact that again your characters and your performances so much about this have become so iconic, and you've seen the amount of fan art and cosplay that I've seen, and you would have seen on Twitter and Instagram from fans and gamers that weren't really connected with Resident Evil before and have almost connected with these characters, almost that have kind of transcended the game itself. So I'm certain that it took Capcom a little bit by surprise, and I'm sure they're going to want to capitalize on that, and that we are going to see more of you, hopefully.
What the hell?
I hope so. From your mouth to God's ears, or to Capcom's ears too, whatever. Like I hope so. Like I've heard a lot of people. Like I get constant messages. Like we wanted, Bela to live longer. We wanted to be in the castle Dimitrescu longer. Why was it so short? Why did you guys die so quickly? I'm like, I don't know. And then like, will we see more? Will there be a DLC? I keep being asked these questions, and I was like, I hope I could ask them on the daily. And it's been like a month since release, right? So I'm hoping that somebody's also directing these to Capcom, because as impressive as Bela is, Bekka has no power over Capcom. And so I'm hoping that Capcom is hearing this, so that they're like, oh, people really want more of Lady D and her daughters, they want more. So whether it's a prequel, whether it's a DLC, whether if they reincarnate somehow, because I just really thought in the castle they would not all die so quickly. I thought that if they got cold, they would disappear. They would turn into insects, disappear, and then wait until they're in a warm room again. And then so he would fight Bela, and then it got cold, he busted a window, she would turn to flies and disappear until and then that's when he goes into a room and finds Daniela or finds Cassandra, and then it's warmer again, so then Bela comes back, and and then at that point Lady D is with her, and so then they attack him together. I thought it would be like more of a cat and mouse. And that's what I'm hoping for, at least in the future. who knows? But I mean, obviously the game developers did such an amazing job with this game. I mean, that was my hope because I just selfishly want to live longer. But like they did brilliant work because it left everybody wanting more. So who am I to say? Because obviously they're the ones in charge. And they're the ones that crafted a game that sold over 4 million copies, I think, as of like last week. So like, not a writer, just my little brain wanting to be in the game more. But yeah, they obviously left people like pretty happy. And so if we could do more, that would be
Mother Miranda. I
amazing.
regret to inform you that Ethan
We've got,
Hey,
we've got
listen,
Maggie here.
escaped.
I have to duck out, and I just wanted to say
Because
how
he
much
is
of an
in
honor
my
it is
castle
to
and is
meet and
already
talk
proven
with you,
too much for my
Bekka.
daughters to handle.
Really
When I
had a
find
great
him-
time.
Well, I think you should
No.
like contact me because a couple things I wanted
Yes,
to say
of course. I understand the importance
about
of the
working in
ceremony.
the future and
won't let you
also
down.
wanted to see talk to you about Lori, the wardrobe person. So get my information from George because I definitely want to stay contacted with a fellow actor. Oh, she's a Resident Evil actor. Thank you so much for George for bringing so much light and information to this as well. I appreciate you taking the time to interview with me.
Yeah. So great. To all of you, Moni, so nice to actually speak with you. It's our first time actually talking together. We've emailed for years, and
Yeah, that's true.
and I still owe you some dialogue. So let me know. I'll record that and get it over to you.
Yeah, we
Well,
are all waiting for Chris's diary in the voice of Joe White.
Moni, I'll make sure he does that. I mean, I said,
nice.
Stay on me for it. Paul will stay on me for it.
Please.
All right.
Joe, thank you so much. I appreciate it because we all know it's very difficult for you at your weekends to get some time. So thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely my pleasure. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care,
Ciao,
Joe.
ciao.
Bye.
And although we've got many more, we've got so many more questions for you, Bekka. But you let us know because obviously we're mindful. You've been so kind giving up your free time to us today. And so of course let us know. We're going to try and keep you in our castle as long as we can. But you've been very generous already with your time. We're coming almost close to 2 hours.
Can I ask
Moni,
one more
before.
question?
Well, I was going to say, absolutely, Oracle, and also as well, Moni, before we go, because you've been so fantastic playing the game. If you've got any questions from the Brazilian fans and that you wanted to ask Bekka.
I don't think there's too many people from the Brazilian fan base here. I'm gonna ask them in Portuguese. Gente, vocês têm alguma dúvida, alguma coisa que vocês queiram perguntar para Bekka antes da gente encerrar aqui? Então, let's wait just like 2 minutes.
Thank you, Moni. And of course, if you or Aaron had your own questions for Bekka as well.
Yeah, I have one more question. Tell us about Janet.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Jeanette, she's limited time in the game with Jeanette, but sweetheart, just a super sweet girl who really enjoyed what she did, enjoyed people. I think she's family. She's a fiance, and she was, from everything I've seen about her, she's just very prized as a person. Not to mention, she's a freaking incredible voice talent and actor. She really jumped into this role. I don't think she's really had any performance capture experience before, and I don't quote me, but she really jumped into it with both feet in and did a brilliant job and had fun with it. And she was big. She's like a big, bright personality. So sadly, I didn't get to work with her more than I did because our days on set for performance capture were pretty short. It was heartbreaking to find out that she passed from cancer. And especially right before the release of the game, a few months before the game's release. But we all, and Aaron specifically, I think Aaron and Sarah had known her since, they were kids. And I think they're like 12 or younger or something like that when, since they've known her. And that's how I think they all became part of the game together. Or I think Sarah brought them both in, I think, is how that happened. And again, ask Aaron to make sure it's correct. But both of them are so talented. And all of them, including Sarah. Obviously, he's already done Resident Evil. So it was a joy. I'm so glad that at least that she got to do something so iconic and so beautiful and so well done. It's heartbreaking, and it's honestly, it's going to be weird signing the poster, signing the prints, because she's, you want to represent her well. We're going to do a doodle or something, or a little word from her. But it's kind of surreal and sad, that she can't be a part of the rigmarole, the big fanfare afterward. She put her heart and soul into it, like we all did, and that she didn't get to be a part of that. Maybe she's looking down from heaven and seeing the joy that she's bringing people. I sure hope so, because she, this is a huge role that she's gotten, and it will live on. And at least I'm just so grateful that she has her legacy carrying out in that way. It's pretty beautiful in and of itself.
Well, that's said so beautifully. Thank you, Bekka. And I was thinking, you would hope that it is comfort to her family that what you and Joe were saying before, the way that your performances do resonate with the fans, and but also what those do for their lives, troubles, and we always hear, from fans, that have their own challenges and things going on, how these games can help them get through these things. So the fact, like you say, that word, her legacy lives on in how her performance is making better the lives of other people.
Yeah, for sure. It's she gave a gift, she gave of herself, and I think that's what we all try to do as actors, and I think Joe would agree. We just try to, it's like it's a joy to be able to perform, but it's like, I don't know, personally, I'm not in there of my name and lights. I really, really love performance, and I feel the most alive when I'm doing it. And if I can reach somebody on a level that I normally couldn't, that's just a beautiful thing. And I'm just so grateful if and when that ever happens.
Well, we're getting the fans that are kind of emphasizing that sentiment and saying thank you so much, Bekka, to you and for your performance. Shadowgate, Dragon Page, Stars Tyrant, Edward Borg Gamer, Nighthawk, Sonny Bauer, Golden Heart 180, Adieth, Jerry, Bloody Eye. Thank you to everyone just saying that, thank you so much for your performance and just, what it meant to them. Thank you, Bekka.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Every time you say Bloody Eye, I think the Bela in me thinks blood. I'm like, Bloody Eye? Okay. Every time.
Well, he'll be so pleased you said
hello,
that.
Bloody Eye from Bela.
You're the oh wow, he always, it's funny, for his name he always gets called out. Another voice actor who plays Ada Wong commented on Bloody Eye's name, so I'm getting very jealous. No one's ever commented on George Trevor. Actually, in fact, Alison Court actually did point out how unlucky I was that Oracle Dragon's got her beautiful name, Oracle Dragon, and just like, George, couldn't you have come up with a bit more of an imaginative avatar than George?
I mean, Oracle Dragon is pretty dope. I mean, it's kind of gorgeous and mystical. So it's like, it's hard to compete with Oracle Dragon.
Maybe my blood revives Bella. Who knows?
Oh.
Yeah, so
hey, please pass it this way.
I was just going to say, so Primo Easy, thank you, Bekka. I hope you come to Brazil one day. I mean, not beyond the question, because I know you guys are kind of getting interested in doing the cons, aren't you? Hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, we a lot of us signed with, it's called a Vertical Talent Agency, and it's a personal appearance agent. And he approached us, and so as an RE team, a lot of us have signed on with him to do conventions and conferences. So if you can, promote, tell whatever conference is in Brazil or wherever you are in the world, like, hey, we'd love to have RE people here, then say, hey, we want Bela, and then they'll contact him and love to be a part. That'd be so great. I love travel. Obviously haven't been doing it during COVID, but I love travel. So I would love to visit Brazil and really everywhere. I'm such a big into different cultures, and I just love that. So yeah, I would be happy to meet meet fans. It'd be so good.
Oh no, and I think I've seen it happen because I think I don't know, Moni, if any of the voice actors have come to Brazil. I've seen them. There was I think it was the cast from Resident Evil 2, Nick Apostolides, and Jolene Anderson. There was a convention in South Africa, an anime con. So yeah, that'd be absolutely wonderful. And again, this is the great thing about Resident Evil, that it's just now so worldwide. And you know, your fan base, as we're seeing in the chat, we've got fans of yours, Bekka, you know, from England, America, South America, just all over the world.
Actually,
Yay!
DC Douglas
That's
came
amazing.
to Brazil and he had a lot of fun. So Bella would have a lot of fun as well. So, well, hope you can come to Brazil someday.
Hopefully you can show me the highlights if I do get to come.
Of course.
I'll be knocking on your door. Be like, Moni?
Sure.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. So we've got a, just going up, if we've got any more last questions for you, Bekka. Oracle, did you have anything more for Bekka?
I'm good with the questions, apart from what kind of pet do you think Bella would have?
Well, she has troubles with pets because she likes to devour them for their blood. But the one pet I would say she had before she first changed, she got too tempted, and eventually, you know, it was a dog, and she likes medium-sized dogs, not too small, not too big. Maybe it was a boxer because it was feisty like her. But then I think she didn't eat that. I think Daniela, because, you know, Daniela's kind of a brat,
Jeez.
right? I don't know. So I think Daniela took the dog's blood. And so that's one of the reasons I think she gets so fed up with Daniela, because she thinks Daniela's the worst, right? She's always in order with Daniela. So, yeah, I think Daniela took her little dog, her boxer. So, yeah, she had a boxer.
You probably got that from the Duke as a gift. Probably a birthday gift.
The only problem with dogs is
Yeah.
because they cause all
Yeah, my
a
Uncle Duke.
mess. They are very messy.
Well, we've had
Right?
our own problems.
All that mess.
We've had
With
our
your
own problems
ghost,
when we
right? With
record
your
our
husky,
podcast.
right?
Yeah, well, we have the huskies, and I have, and they tend to howl. When
I
we're
don't hear any
recording podcasts.
howling.
No, I know, and it would have been really apt. We were saying earlier, the howling would have gone perfectly with the kind of the atmosphere of the castle. Yeah, they kind of crashed out at the moment. One of them.
So is that a lichen?
Pardon me?
You have two?
I have two. Yeah, I have a female and a male.
How
Obviously,
many
of
huskies
course,
do you have?
I've got the two. A male and a female. The female ghost obviously is the boss, is in charge, and just bosses the boy about constantly. Yeah, we have great fun in the forest. I mean, I know where the inspiration for that question came from. Oracle was asking about animals because Oracle can trump my huskies. I think, Oracle, you can let Bekka know. We have sounds of chickens and cockerels, and I mean, Aaron literally lives in the middle of the Pennsylvanian woods, surrounded by all sorts of animals.
Yep. You can see a
Oh
lot
my
of my
gosh,
stuff
that's
on my Instagram
amazing.
account.
Really? That's so cool. Follow me if you haven't already so I can find you. And then I'll follow you back and look at it all.
Yeah, I also have a few videos on TikTok.
Okay, well
of me
then
and my
send me a
chickens and
message.
Stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's so fun. Yeah, I grew up out in the country. Maybe you're a little more country than I, but still, I grew up in the country. We had 3 acres, and one of our acres was a garden. So we had like a huge, an acre of a garden, it's kind of like a little mini farm. You know? So I feel you, girl. we had bunny rabbits, dogs, cats, no chickens.
I was
Sorry to
tempted
let you
to
down.
record outside with y'all, but then I thought, well, you guys will hear all the chickens and all the cicadas. They'll probably be too loud.
Like cicadas are, in fact, maybe. I mean, no. If we were, we're little bugs, but if we were cicadas, we'd be way louder than we are in this game. Cicadas every 17 years in Ohio. I remember loud beasts.
Yeah, cicadas out here in the woods are kind of like a deeper tone this year instead of being really loud.
Okay, the guy from England has to ask what are these
Really?
animals that I've never heard of?
They're a type of bug that live underground for
Okay,
17
you have to Google
years.
this, George.
Yes.
And literally, they come out every 17 years, and they line your cars. They're like, you go outside, they fall on you. You step on them because they layer everything like a film, and they're like, okay, can I see this? They're like this, probably like this big, right? They're like this big,
Okay.
and they're like, and they get in your hair, and you're like, it's literally, and they crunch when you walk on them because you don't want to walk on them, but they're all over. It's terrible, and they're like, they're so loud.
Okay.
They're so loud. Yeah, Google cicadas after this. It's how do I spell this? C-I-D.
Okay.
C-A-C-A-D-A-S or something. Help me out. Oh, perfect. There's a picture on the chat. They're they're not cute.
Oh, it was our chat. Oh, wow, bloody
And
hell!
then there's
You see,
everything.
my
You
wife.
see it?
My wife Claire was a big sort of Darwinist, and I always used to tease her by when I used to see pictures of insects like this. I just used to say, "Look, seriously, are you? These did not come from this planet. These are from Mars." You know, and she just used to get throw Darwin's book at me and get very angry.
Right.
And wow, okay, so so you've kind of got a background in was it sort of kind of inspiration for when you're playing Bela with all the flies? Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, right? I don't think of them because I would be like, yeah, they're creepy.
Well, we should listen, Bekka Prewitt, thank you so very, very much for being with us. Actor for Bela. I have to, memo to self Dimitrescu, and I'm not saying that as wonderfully as Moni said it earlier.
Perfect.
But thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for all the fans in the chat, all the love and the sentiment that's been passed on to you. And of course, I know you haven't been able to see the chat, Bekka, but we're going to be uploading this stream to our YouTube channel, and I'll send you the link, and the chat box will be there, so you'll be able to see, guys, any of the sentiment that you've been putting out in the chat. Bekka will get to see that as well. And just for myself, George Trevor, I'll let the Oracle Dragon and Moni say their goodbyes. But for me, when I contacted you, complete stranger from England that you'd never spoken to before, just so kind and generous the way that you've opened up to me and given us this personal insight into your professional work. Thank you so very much.
Oh, my honor. I really appreciate that you contacted me to ask me to do it. So thank you so much. And to all the RE fans, love you, and Bela loves you as well. Bye, everyone.
I should have said, did you want to just say yes in your finest Bela accent? You might want to just, if could I be so cheeky to ask you to say goodbye to the fans?
Absolutely. No, not at all. Let's see. Hello. Actually, no, I'll start like this. I'll start the way I started from Moni. Resident Evil fan blood. Oh, you think you killed me, do you? Oh, little one. I'm still on the hunt. Just wait. A DLC? A prequel? Who knows? But I can smell your blood a mile away, you stupid thing. I'll come for you. You just wait. Bye-bye for now.
Oh my god. It's midnight here in England and it's dark, and that was quite creepy actually.
That was bloody brilliant. Thank you.
Perfect.
Oh wow. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. That's what I was going for.
Thank you.
Over and out. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you calling.
Thank you so much, Bekka. Moni, I'll hand over to you to say your goodbye and to end the stream. But yeah, no, on behalf of all the fans, Bekka, thank you so much. That everyone will know where they can find you. We'll put all the links for your Twitter, Instagram, and I know things, you know, like you say, things are coming up in the next couple of days. So we'll be tweeting out so fans can, you know exactly where they can find you, where they can find your prints. And hopefully we look forward to speaking to you again with Resident Evil 9, perhaps, or well, like you say, that DLC definitely. Yeah, you haven't heard The Last of Us because we'll be chasing you for another interview when you're the star of that DLC. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Bye now.
Bye, Bekka. Thank you.
Guys, so I finished the stream. There's a load screen there. Okay. And now I'm gonna start the button to stop it, okay?